Georg in particular learned to find his way in the forest even before the sun came up, to creep up to within a few meters of a woodcock without scaring the bird away, to slip through the bushes without making the leaves rustle so as not to frighten the deer, to disappear into the vegetation, perfectly camouflaged, to wait patiently, silent and inactive, and to act at the right fraction of a second. In a word, hunting, practiced in a group or in the course of long solitary hikes, with that passion for animals that marks true nature lovers, made Georg a real Indian. He remained one. He was later to find this training extremely valuable. Hunting was not only a way of hardening the body. It prepared us, without our being aware of it, for the laws of life, for the struggles of existence, saving one's strength, fleeing from an adversary, recovering, knowing how to use cunning, adapting to the enemy, assessing risk. We learned how to keep our sang-froid in the tumult of dogs excited by the battle, how to strike the throat of a stag or a boar in the coup de grace, and look without revulsion at the dark red fluid bubbling out of mortal wounds. We did not shiver upon seeing the brown trickle running down the pale pelt of a young deer, or the bloody foam staining the chops of an animal exhausted by the chase. We withstood the glassy stare of the dead animal and finally collected these bloody, damp trophies, the spolia opima of modern times. Hunting also accustomed us to the laws of violent death, internalized the notion of an offering. Yes, hunting was a preparation for the supreme sacrifice, the sacrifice of life. The education we received at Godesberg did not differ from what we were taught at Heimertsheim, which I would call relaxed Catholicism. My family was profoundly Catholic, with a centuries-old history linked to that of the German Catholic princes. In the 17th century, our ancestors, the Heiden-Belderbusches, from whom we had inherited the Heimertsheim castle, had been ministers of the powerful Archbishop of Cologne. During the same period, the Sachsenhofens, from whom we had inherited the Kreuzberg estate, had served the prince-electors of Mainz. As children, Georg and I were very close. Only 2 years apart, we were like Castor and Pollux, natural playmates, and accomplices in the same practical jokes. But this intimacy, which made us almost a separate unit among our siblings, did not prevent us from developing different qualities. Nor did it diminish the natural ascendancy of the elder child over the younger. As a duo, we complemented each other. Georg was physically more robust, more athletic, more intuitive, and instinctively perceptive regarding people, situations, and things. I, on the other hand, was more reflective and analytical. 2 anecdotes from our early childhood clearly show our difference in character. At Heimertsheim, the grounds were full of wild deer. The animals sometimes came quite close to the house. One day, our older brothers, Antonius and Hermann, who were then not quite 10, were amusing themselves by throwing pebbles at one of the deer, trying to provoke it. Sitting behind a stone bench, Georg was watching carefully. The roebuck, suddenly responding to the little devil's challenge, was about to attack. Georg reacted with lightning speed. All of 5 years old, he seized the rifle that Antonius had left leaning against the bench and shot at the animal. Kaboom! Bowled over by the rifle's recoil, Georg fell backward. Fortunately, he was not injured. But the explosion had frightened away the roebuck. As for me, when I was 4 years old, I distinguished myself at a family dinner. Our cousin, zu Stolberg, had been seriously wounded in the head during the Great War. The surgeons had installed a silver plate on his skull to close the hole left by enemy fire, and he lived until the 1960s. I had heard about this extraordinary operation and wanted to see the result for myself. Climbing silently onto a chair, I leaned over my cousin's head and began to examine, discreetly and carefully, the bald area where the precious metal shone. They say that when I cried, disappointed, "That's not silver. There's no hallmark," as a reward